What is up, car addicts? In this video, we'll be talking about this week's Triple Money Event Week as well as the property and vehicle discounts. This event week is for September 2nd through September 8th, 2021. So, starting off, the Ubermock Cipher is now officially available for purchase from the legendary Motorsport website. It was added today, September 2nd, and it is the 6th drip feed vehicle of this update out of the 7 total drip feed vehicles. The current prize ride for this week is the Ubermock Cipher, which is the brand new drip feed car. Pretty insane that they did that. So to get this car for free, you have to get first place in 5 street races. Honestly, pretty easy. You can literally host 5 street races with a friend and let each other win, and boom, you both have the car for free. Now this car is primarily based on the BMW M2, specifically the F87. Just a very good looking car with great customization as well. It has a normal price of about 1.5 million and a trade price of about 1.1 million. So essentially a free $1 million DLC car that just officially released today. That's pretty insane, especially since the challenge is also very easy as well on top of that. Now in terms of the test drive vehicles for this event week, we have the Dominator GTT, the Ubermax Cipher repeating from the last event week, and the Karen Previon, which is the last drip feed vehicle of this DLC. So next week on September 9th, we should receive the new Karen Previon for purchase, which I'm honestly really excited for, especially since that car is in the coupes class and it will most likely be the king for performance in that class, which honestly I'm really excited about because currently the best car in that class for racing is still the original Zion for most tracks. So not really all that great. Now, in terms of the casino podium vehicle, we have the Landstalker XL. So this vehicle is primarily based on the 4th generation Lincoln Navigator. Not really all that exciting if I'm being honest, but this SUV is normally way overpriced at just over $1.2 million, which is just ridiculous for this thing, especially since it has a generic SUV interior. It's just very slow. It's pretty much like a normal SUV in game, not really anything too exciting. Now it's in the SUVs class obviously, and for those of you who paid that original ridiculous price tag and are not happy about it being on the podium, remember that you can always take the one you originally purchased and sell it. You can see mine right here sells for about $800,000, but again this will depend on your upgrades and how much you paid for it originally. So is a Landstalker XL worth attempting to win by spinning the lucky wheel over and over this week? Well, if you've always wanted this SUV for some reason and maybe held off because of how expensive it was, I guess now you can try and get it for free, which I think is pretty cool if you want that SUV, but overall it's a pretty generic vehicle. So starting off with the property discounts, we have 20% off the auto shops. Not really all that great of a discount if I'm being honest. They probably should have done 30 or 40%, but I guess because of how new it is, that's probably why they did 20%. But if you haven't gotten one yet and held off, I guess now would be a pretty decent time to get one. Moving on to the vehicle discounts, we have 30% off the Jester RR. So this car is in the sports class and of course is usable in the tuner races as well. Now the Calico GTF and Sultan RS Classic are still better overall in terms of track performance, but this car is still pretty cool to customize and own. Next up, we have 40% off the Italy RSX, which honestly is a great deal for this car, especially compared to what it normally costs. Now this car is in the sports class and is a very competitive vehicle in that class. However, the Pariah and Italy GTO are still a bit faster depending on the track. Moving along, we have 40% off the Krieger, which is currently the best supercar for racing depending on the track, because the Emirates can beat the Krieger at times depending on the track as well. And speaking of the Emirates, that one is also 40% off this week, which is just absolutely insane. So the top 2 supercars for racing are discounted this week at honestly really good prices. Very, very good job, Rockstar. Moving on to the Warstock website, we have 40% off the weaponized dinghy, which is the Pegasus vehicle with no customization. I honestly would probably skip out on this one. And lastly, we have 40% off the Tula, which is basically a seaplane with vertical takeoff. A pretty versatile aircraft that's pretty fun to mess around with. However, I feel that it's a bit too expensive for what it is, even with the discount. And also keep in mind that you need to own a hangar in order to even buy it. In terms of triple money, we have triple money NRP on the Tiny Racers adversary mode. Honestly, I haven't done one of these since they came out about 4 years ago, so they're not really all that great. Kind of like a top-down view. Kind of reminds me of like a mobile game or something. It's just kind of weird. It's alright. Anyways, moving along, we have double money NRP contracts, which are essentially the mini heist that you can start from your auto shop property, which is pretty insane. Double money on these. I think now it's definitely worth doing them so that you can make just under $400,000 depending on the contract, and they only take about 20 minutes solo, including setups, which is pretty insane. Especially if you're tired of grinding Gaio Perico, this is a great alternative for some fun. And to add to that, the brand new Union Depository contract was also added today to give you even more of an incentive to try these. Moving on to the Prime Gaming discounts or Prime Gaming members only. I'll leave instructions in the pinned comment on how to become a Prime Gaming member if you aren't one already. So we have the same ones as last week, which is 35% off the Tailgater S, which was one of the day one DLC cars for the Tuners DLC. Now this car is in the sedans class and isn't really all that competitive due to the Shafter V12 just being completely dominant in that class. And lastly, we have 80% off the Flash GT. Now this car used to be the best one for rally style off-road races, but after the ISI Sport released about 2 years ago, it's no longer that competitive anymore, especially since it has the slow handling flags, and a normal price that's just way too high. It's sort of been forgotten, but if you've always wanted one, I guess now's the time to get it at a more realistic price. Also, don't forget guys, just for logging in this week as a Prime Gaming member, you'll get a free $100,000, which is pretty cool. Again guys, if you don't see the discount on the vehicles I mentioned, it's because you don't have your Prime Gaming account linked to your social club. Again, all the information on how to do that is down below in the pinned comment. And lastly, we have of course the RC Bandito time trial panic stations. This week's normal time trial is coast to coast. I highly recommend either the Pariah, Italian GTO, Devest 8, Emerus, Krieger, Hakachu Drag, Shotaro, or a Batty 801 for that time trial. And this week's premium race is the motorcycle race, A Sign of Things to Come. I highly recommend either the Hakachu Drag or a Shotaro for that race. Every Friday I post a guide on how to easily beat the time trials and premium race, so stay tuned for that if you're new. Anyways guys, hope this was helpful. Overall, this event week is definitely one of the best we've had in a while, with both good discounts, good double money, and a great prize ride vehicle as well. Although the only thing I maybe would have done a bit better is added maybe a couple Southern San Andreas website discounts and maybe a better casino podium vehicle, but other than that, well done Rockstar. Very good event week. Hopefully we get more like these in the future. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.